Have you ever felt that nagging whisper in your gut? The one that tells you something just isn't right, even when everything looks perfectly fine on the surface? Or perhaps you've been blindsided by someone you thought you knew, leaving you wondering how you could have been so wrong. It's a chilling realization when the person smiling sweetly at you might be secretly plotting your downfall. We've all been there, dismissing our intuition, assuming kindness is always genuine. But sometimes the truth is far stranger and way scarier than fiction. It can leave you feeling vulnerable, perhaps even foolish, for not seeing what was hidden. In plain sight today, we're going to talk about something incredibly important for your safety and well-being. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about survival. We're going to uncover 5 chilling yet often overlooked signs that someone in your life doesn't just dislike you, they want you gone permanently out of the picture. These aren't just hunches, they're real behaviors backed by psychological patterns. Recognizing them could literally save your life. Or someone else's. Let's start with sign 1, the silent observer. Imagine Sarah, a bubbly, outgoing designer. She loves her daily coffee ritual at the local cafe. One day, the barista casually mentions, "Oh, your usual latte, extra foam, right?" Sarah is surprised. She's never actually told anyone her specific order. She just assumed it was a lucky guess. Then, she starts noticing Mark, an acquaintance from her building, at the same small park she visits every morning for her run. Later, she sees him again, browse the same aisle as her at the grocery store. It feels coincidental until it doesn't. The silent observer isn't just a passive social media lurker or someone who gossips. No, this is something far more deliberate, calculated, and sinister. These people don't just watch you, they study you. They memorize your schedule, analyze your routines, and collect information with a kind of precision that feels more like military reconnaissance than casual curiosity. And they do it so subtly, so quietly, that most people don't even notice. Until it's too late, we've been trained to dismiss these subtle patterns as paranoia. But predators rely on that hesitation. They weaponize your split-out. Sarah eventually realized Mark wasn't just struggling to move on from a brief mutual acquaintance. He knew where she'd be before she got there. She changed gyms, took new routes to work, even used different grocery stores. But every time he reappeared, no confrontation, no threats, just quiet, consistent surveillance. Her friends brushed it off as an obsession, but what they missed, and what she finally realized, was that it wasn't obsession. It was premeditation. This isn't about reconciliation or closure. It's about control. It's about eliminating uncertainty. Before making a move, we live in a hyper-connected world where surveillance doesn't require a van parked outside your home. It requires access through social media, mutual friends, and the routines and habits we don't guard closely enough. And the most dangerous people are not the ones who lash out publicly, but those who smile politely while cataloging your every move. This is not about fear. It's about discernment. If someone repeatedly appears in your life without a clear reason, especially when you've made no effort to invite them in, that's not fate. It's a red flag. Pay attention to those patterns. Question the coincidences. And above all, listen to your instincts. Your discomfort isn't overthinking, it's insight. When your soul feels unsettled, don't second-guess it. Honor it. Because sometimes the scariest people aren't the ones who threaten you directly. They're the ones who study you in silence, waiting for the moment you're not paying attention. Now, let's talk about sin 2. The Saboteur Strategy. Studies in social psychology show that when a person hears a lie about someone else, even if it's later proven false, their perception of that person is still negatively affected. That's how powerful suggestion is. And that's exactly what makes the Saboteur Strategy so dangerous. When someone wants more than just revenge, when they're not content with you being hurt but want you isolated, they begin to wage war not just against you but against your entire support system. This isn't petty gossip. It's a quiet campaign of character assassination, orchestrated with such subtlety that by the time you realize what's happening, the damage has already been done. They move like shadows, whispering things in the right ears at just the right moments. To your boss, they hint you're unreliable. To your friends, they imply you've changed or become toxic. They never make a full accusation, that would be too obvious. Instead, they plant seeds of suspicion, doubt, misunderstanding. And because each incident seems isolated, each situation unrelated, no one realizes they're part of something larger. Even you may begin to question your own stability. After all, why does everything seem to be falling apart at the same time? That is the essence of this strategy. Calculated fragmentation. These individuals don't act out of impulse. They act with intent. They orchestrate conflicts to make you look unstable. They pull strings behind the scenes to ensure that you're discredited in both professional and personal spaces. They pose as victims, or worse, as concerned allies, while they quietly unravel the trust others have in you. Their goal is not simply to damage your image. It is to cut you off from your lifelines, to ensure that when they finally strike hardest, you're standing alone when a saboteur is at work. The obstacle isn't a challenge to grow from, it's a toxic fog that clouds your path. And if you are not careful, you start reacting instead of reflecting. You get pulled into the drama, trying to prove your innocence, explain your actions, or clear your name, only to discover that the more you speak, the more suspicious you seem. That's why awareness is your first defense. Don't chase every rumor. Instead, anchor yourself in evidence. Preserve your integrity, but also protect yourself strategically. Document everything: emails, messages, timelines. Keep your truth sharp and your circle intentional. Most importantly, remember, character is revealed over time, not in moments of chaos. People may be swayed for a while, but the truth, like the soul, has a way of enduring. So, when someone moves like a phantom behind your conflicts, always near but never named, it's time to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. You're not just facing a manipulator, you're confronting a strategist of destruction. And the first, step 2, winning that battle is refusing to play their game. Comment 1 if you think this topic is worth discussing, or 0 if you think it's not that important. Next up, sign 3, the false friend facade. Here's where things get especially dark. This is perhaps the most deceptive sign that someone doesn't just hate you, but may be quietly planning your downfall. It's one of the oldest tactics in human history, and still one of the hardest to see coming. We've been conditioned to believe that kindness is always a virtue, that warmth and closeness are signs of loyalty. But when someone suddenly pivots, from distant acquaintance to deeply invested friend, especially without any clear reason or emotional history, it's time to pay attention, not celebrate. These individuals aren't trying to earn your trust. They're building access. What seems like concern is often a calculated performance. They start asking detailed questions about your schedule, your relationships, your fears, even your past traumas, but they don't want to help you heal. They're gathering intelligence. They become close to your family, start hanging around your workspace, maybe even help with your errands or personal affairs. Their goal isn't support, it's surveillance. And every secret you share becomes another tool in their toolbox. Another piece of leverage, another vulnerability to exploit. What makes this so sinister is that it feels good at first. You're finally being seen. Someone wants to listen, understand, help. But behind that comforting presence is a cold, strategic mind, mapping your world with the precision of a surgeon. They're not building a friendship. They're designing the most efficient route to access every soft spot in your life. It's easy to mistake familiarity for friendship, but predators know that too. They'll mirror your language, echo your emotions, even share vulnerable stories of their own just enough to lower your defenses. Meanwhile, they're filing away your information like a spy building a target profile. And because they're wrapped in charm and empathy, no one around you suspects a thing, not even you, until it's too late. So, here's what to do. Slow the relationship down. Guard your privacy like your peace depends on it, because it does. Ask yourself why someone suddenly wants access to parts of your life they've never cared about before. True friendship grows gradually, but sabotage hides in speed. Trust isn't just about who makes you feel safe. It's about who keeps you safe. When your back is turned, the false friend doesn't just want your loyalty, they want your weaknesses. And the moment they collect enough, they'll know exactly where to strike. So yes, be kind, be warm, but be wise. Because when evil wears a friendly face, it's not connection, it's camouflage. Are you with me? Type 2 in the comments to let me know you're still watching. Let's move on to sign 4. Calculated escalation. This is one of the most horrifyingly overlooked signs. When someone harbors intentions that go beyond hatred, they rarely start with outright violence. Instead, they test the waters, gradually conditioning you to tolerate behavior that grows darker and more threatening over time. It often begins with subtle aggression, offhand jokes that mask disturbing undertones, comments like "I could kill you right now," followed by a laugh or casual mentions of violence meant to seem humorous or edgy. But make no mistake, these are not just tasteless remarks. They're deliberate probes designed to measure your fear and your boundaries. Think about the case of Leah. She moved into a new apartment complex and met Adam, a neighbor who seemed a bit awkward but friendly enough. Over time, Adam started hanging around more often, offering help, joining her on elevator rides, asking oddly specific questions about her routines. Then one day, at a small building cookout, he made a bizarre but seemingly not threatening comment. He joked that he'd make a perfect killer because he knew how to get rid of evidence. Everyone laughed it off. Leah, a bit unsettled, shrugged it away. But things began to shift. Adam started getting physically closer to close. He'd appear in hallways at the exact time she left for work, brushing past her shoulder with no apology. He once blocked her apartment door under the pretense of needing to talk. No note, no explanation, just the weapon. When she reported it, the authorities initially dismissed it as a prank, but Leah didn't. She installed a camera, changed her locks, and began documenting every interaction. Within a month, footage revealed Adam trying to pick her lock at 2 a.m., wearing gloves and holding what looked like a black duffel bag. He was arrested. It was later discovered that he had a detailed journal mapping Leah's movements, favorite places, and a timeline labeled execution window. This is the terrifying truth. Violent individuals often begin with harmless behavior. To desensitize you, what seems like a joke or an accidental shove is often part of a larger psychological script. If someone in your life regularly crosses the line and laughs it off, pay attention. If their jokes are laced with threats, if they increasingly test your physical space, or if they seem to be studying your reactions instead of connecting with you, that is not a personality quirk. That is a red flag. And ignoring it could cost you more than peace of mind. It could cost you your life. Have you ever tried to ignore your gut feeling about someone? Share your thoughts in the comments. Finally, we arrive at sign 5, the patient predator. This is without question the most dangerous sign that someone may want you dead. This isn't the person who lashes out in anger, who leaves obvious threats, or behaves erratically. It's patience. These individuals don't seek quick revenge or heated confrontation. They play what philosophers call the long game, where every move is calculated, rehearsed, and timed to perfection. They can wait months, even years, for just the right moment. And by then, most people have already let their guard down. Completely what makes them terrifying isn't what they do. It's how normal they seem. They don't raise alarms. They raise trust. They ask about your future plans, not out of care, but out of strategy. They want to know when you'll be out of town, when you'll be moving, when you'll be alone. Every conversation is data collection. Every favor they do, every connection they build, it's all part of creating a false sense of security. They might be your dependable coworker, your neighbor who waters your plants, or the friend who remembers your birthday better than your own family. But beneath that calm exterior is a person rehearsing the perfect betrayal. Our greatest threat isn't what we see, it's what we overlook. While we assume the world is operating on fairness, we're vulnerable to those who wear a perfect mask. What you see is crafted to deceive. Their life is a performance. Their kindness is bait. The scariest part, these people rarely make mistakes. They wait for your mistake. For the one moment when your routine breaks, when your support system thins, when your defenses drop, that's when they strike. And because you trusted them, you never saw it coming. So what can you do? Be slow to hand out deep trust, especially to those who seem to accelerate closeness without reason. Guard your plans. Keep your boundaries sacred. You can still be kind, but don't confuse kindness with blind access. The vigilant part of you must stay awake, even when nothing seems wrong, especially when nothing seems wrong. Still with me? Drop a yes in the comments to let me know you're tuned in. Let's be brutally honest. If any of these 5 signs have made someone come to mind, don't brush it off. Don't convince yourself you're overreacting, because if you've seen the silent observer, the saboteur, the false friend, the escalating aggressor, or the patient predator in your life, you're not just dealing with negativity. You're potentially standing in the crosshairs of something much darker. Your instincts exist for a reason. As the old saying goes, the devil doesn't come dressed in horns. He comes wrapped in everything you ever wanted to trust. So, here's one simple, gentle piece of advice. Pay attention to how someone makes you feel in your gut, not just what they say or do on the surface. If a relationship feels off, or if there's a recurring pattern that makes you uneasy, acknowledge that feeling. It's your internal alarm system, and it's there to protect you. Remember, knowledge is your first shield, but action is what keeps you alive. Stay sharp, stay guarded, and above all else, first, subscribe to this channel so you're always one step ahead of the game. But sharing that might save someone else's life too. Trust wisely, and I'll see you in the next one.